Yes, that's right. We are live and we are the replay. Well, we hope we're going to make you guys' day. I am your host, Jabril A. Rashad. And as you can see, he's driving in that car, in the fast lane. I don't know if he down there with Michael Jordan, them, they race car team, but joining me is none other than my guy, my main man, Greg Ice Trade Lewis. What it do? I salute you, my brother.
What's happening? What's
Yeah,
going on?
sometimes we got to make those necessary adjustments, man. When the elements don't line up, and I'm glad that you still was able to join me as we do this 27th episode. Tim may or may not be able to join us. I'm not sure. I think he was having some technical difficulties, but as they say, the show must go on. So, Greg, I want to shout out before we get into it, man. I want to shout out all of my Muslim brothers and sisters. Idul Adha. This is the second celebration. As you know, the Muslims are going overseas in Mecca to fulfill the Hajj, the pilgrimage. And it's a great, wonderful time. Hopefully someday I will be able to fulfill that obligation as well. So I want to make sure that I certainly send my shout outs to all of my brothers and sisters in the Deen of Al-Islam. So this is Al-Islam Worldwide TV, one of our sponsors. And we are global, not just local, but we are global, where we have over 45 countries that's joining us. We also stream on Roku, Apple TV, Fire Stick, and you can go over to Al-Islam Worldwide TV, download the app at the app store, and you'll see Al-Islam Worldwide TV. That's the banner. Just download, and you'll see all of the content that we're still putting up on the Wide Sports channel. So, Greg, we got to talk about it. Last night, there was an NBA game to be played, and it had to be played, man. And, I know it's your San Antonio Spurs. I didn't know for sure if OKC was going to be in the right mindset, but they came out and did their thing, and we take a look at some of the highlights. They closed them out, Greg. I mean, haven't closed them out yet, but it's on the verge, looking like they might close them out. I think it's going to go 7 for sure, but they did wind up beating them last night. I believe the final score was 127 to 114. OKC takes down the San Antonio Spurs, and to be honest with you, I just think the San Antonio Spurs, how you have an effort. The effort was definitely there, but they had, again, I think, too many silly turnovers, which what cost them, I think, in that game 2 that they played, where they had all those turnovers, man. So what was your take on it from last night's game? What did you see? And do you think that OKC Thunder will close them out in San Antonio, or do you see it going 7?
I see it. I see it going 7. But last night, the Spurs came out. Man, they came out like really flat, like no intensity, no urgency, and they didn't play like they played in game 4, and it showed by the score. And Wemby, he didn't get down in the paint at all. First half he take with like 5 shots, 3 or 4 shots, all threes, but I think they have to get back, start back grinding and working harder and playing harder. When they do that, things happen different. But last night, man, it just seemed like they was tired, or didn't nobody have any energy, and they was just making a lot of mistakes. When they make a run to get back in the game, they just make a lot of crucial mistakes.
Well, usually they say, man, if you can stay within that, that when you're on the road and you playing, you can stay within that 10-point gap. I kind of feel like you give yourself a chance. At least history have said that, when a team that's playing on the road, if you stay coming into the fourth quarter, usually around that 10-point, margin, you give yourself a chance to win. I thought San Antonio was going to be able to go on that run, but again, too many of the mistakes, and you absolutely 100% correct. I think Victor Wembanyama, man, he stayed on the outside too long. I mean, I think he made an effort later on to get to the paint, but a lot of times, man, he get out there and get real, comfortable shooting the 3 ball when he should be down there. And personally, I don't think they run enough pick and roll. You see how they trying to box him out, always trying to keep a body on him. they constantly, pulling on his arms, and I think they do get away with a lot of, fouls that they're not calling. But it seems like whenever Shea Gildress is going to the rack or whatever the case may be, it seems like he get those calls, man. I seen one call where the guy, he stepped aside, didn't even get close to him, and they still call the foul just the same. Now I don't know if that's just the MVP home cooking or whatever the case may be, but the Spurs have to find a way to do a better job of establishing Victor Wembanyama in the paint early in the game, not later in the game, but early in the game. And I think they need to do a better job of pick and rolling.
Yeah, they most definitely have to do that. The coach after the game said that they was making a lot of dumb mistakes, and he said if it was too consistent, and he gonna address that, and it was just a lot of things that mentally they seemed like they wasn't there.
Yeah. Well, I think the toughest game is always going to be a closeout game. The 800-pound gorilla is on San Antonio's back. I think they will answer the bell. But OKC have been there, and I think their mindset going in is to try to close them out, because anything can happen in a game 7, because that now shifts the 800-pound gorilla back on OKC. And I don't think OKC want to be in that position. So if they don't close them out in San Antonio, hey man, anything can go in that game 7. Anything can go in that game 7. We shall see. But the other NBA team that played was the Cleveland Cavs, and they got swept. Of course, we know about this already. I know they're probably rooting for a 7 game, because as long as they stay, they play, they're on the basketball court playing in the West. It allows them to rest up and rest some of their wounds, and I feel that that favors the New York Knicks. But they absolutely played an excellent series, man, closing out the Cleveland Cavs, and it wasn't even close if you watch some of the highlights. You see, of course, Spike Lee. You got Jalen Brunson, man. They came in Cleveland, man, and they said, enough is enough. They've been there last year, and this is the kind of thing I'm talking about with OKC. Can they close them out, going there with that same mindset that the New York Knicks had against the Cleveland Cavs? And it's been rumored that in the back of the locker rooms, as they was walking in the tunnel, Donovan Mitchell and James Harden had an altercation, whatever the case may be, which is unfortunate. But at the same time, I think the way the New York Knicks have been gelling, the way they've been playing, the consistencies on both ends of the floor, that's a recipe for really, man, a championship. You know what I'm saying, Greg? I mean, they've been playing, I think what they done won 12 straight games. Now, with that one loss, if it came into the NBA finals, would that kind of kill the momentum? Who knows? Because they did, I think, prior to the 12-game win streak, they had one loss somewhere, but they bounced right back and kept doing what they was doing. In a way, I'm kind of rooting for the New York Knicks when they in the finals, but whoever come out of the West get into the finals, I'm kind of rooting for them a little bit, because I don't think they won a championship since 1971, 1972, somewhere in there, and they haven't been back to the finals since 1999. So we're talking 27 years. And I know that the New York Knicks fans, they are thirsty, man. They are thirsty, but they have a lot of pieces on both ends of the floor that can go in a series against whether it's San Antonio or OKC to pull off the first NBA championship in over 50 years. So what is your take on this series?
Well, where New York has been playing, man, they've been playing so dominant. At the end of the year, everybody was questioning, struggling. They lost Atlanta 2 games, and it done came together. They playing together. They hungry, and they just playing hard. And you know, sometimes it takes the right time. Right now, it looks like the right time for New York. And whoever come out the West, it's gonna be a fight. It's gonna be a fight. They're gonna have to play because New York, what they've been, you're gonna have to play because they hot.
Well, I certainly believe that even in NBA Finals, as much as we're liking what's happening with the Spurs and OKC series in the West, um, I think that series definitely going to go seven. I think that's the Spurs again. They're going to scrap. I think it may be even better in the finals, simply because when you got a team that haven't, as they say, taste the bubbly, they haven't tasted the bubbly in so long and haven't hoisted up the trophy and haven't won for the city. They understand what they're playing for. I think that it's gonna be real tough for OKC to come into the Big Apple or the Spur, if it is OKC or San Antonio, to take down the New York Knicks, especially with how they playing. I think Mike Brown has done a heck of a job. They had the ebbs and flows like all teams do in an 82 regular game season, and a lot of times you'll get the injuries, you'll get the chemistry is not there when you first start off or what have you. Key pieces are not available a lot of times, night in and night out. But what he has done the last couple of months, the last few months, to get this team playing the way they were supposed to play, because many people had them picked, I believe, also to come out of the East. If it wasn't going to be them, well, really nobody really saw Boston because of the nature of what happened to Jason Tatum. But I think they definitely had New York in mind, and they're proving that those pundits that picked them to come out of the East did not make a mistake. And I just think what they're playing for, man, you can't do number root for a team like New York, man, because they have had their ups and downs. You remember the days of Patrick Ewing and Latrell Sprewell, and even when they try to take a page from the bad boy Detroit Pistons with Charles Oakley and them, trying to be bad boy too, I guess, and it to no prevail. Of course, they've had their moments in the NBA Finals, but came up short. And of course, going up against that buzzsaw in the Chicago Bulls, led by the great Michael Jordan, they just could not, overcome that hill. And I think they're hungry, man. You got a lot of. They was showing the audience, and you got all. It was like the whole New York, from Fat Joe to, of course, Spike Lee, the main man. That whole row was filled up with entertainers, and I think that in and of itself will make you play just that much harder. When you have that kind of energy behind your back, I think it can't do nothing, man, but galvanize the base and cause them to play probably beyond. That's why I say, man, fans matter. They talk about the championship that the LA Lakers won back in the bubble. And reason why I always put an asterisk mark by that is simply because fans matter. The energy that's in the building, you feed off the fans. When you think you're tired, the fans will get you through. They will get you over the hump. And that's why I love when you're playing in front of, 18, 20,000 people or 75,000 people or 100,000 people. Man, it's nothing like it. It's nothing like it when you have your fans that's galvanized and bringing that energy and that spirit, that fan spirit that players oftentimes need in crush situation. And you know what? And I think you would concur with this. Everybody can't play under pressure, Greg. Everybody can't perform under pressure. It seems like the free throws seem a little bit tougher, and the rim seems a little bit tighter, and nobody really want to take that shot. You know what I mean? So I think OKC, as much as they are young, I think they still banged up. Jay Williams, man, he suffered that hamstring or re-injured that hamstring a little bit. It's not going to be completely healthy. Going up against Josh Hartnell for the New York Knicks, if they were to make it to the NBA Finals, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough for them to repeat. But what's your thoughts on that?
Well, like I say, man, New York has been playing hell of a basketball. It's just been on all cylinders. Everything, defense, offense. They just playing together, having fun, relax. They just, they did what they had to do. Now they just sitting back and waiting. And like you said, the fans for all these New Yorkers who've been riding for years. You know, right now they got the taste of a dream in their mouth, in their hands right now. And I think them guys they're gonna put up a big fight. whoever come out the West, they're gonna have to put their gloves on because it's gonna New York is gonna come in and swing. You know, they're hungry right now, and hey, San Antonio, Oklahoma, I think you know, 7 games. I think tomorrow come out, with a aggressive, and play better like they did. And from then on, whoever, like I said, whoever the NBA, it's gonna be a good finals.
Did you, man? I had, I'm thinking about the final score being 130-97. We talking about a 37-point drubbing. I didn't see that. I didn't see that. But I didn't see that in this particular game. But we've seen it in the past where teams, I think they mentally check out early, and it's interesting because I it may have been Kendrick Perkins or Gilbert Arenas. One of the, but I was listening to him. They was talking about the things that the Cavs was concerned with or wasn't concerned with. Oh, I know who it was Stephen Jackson. That's matter of fact, was Stephen Jackson. But the thing that they was concerned with, they shouldn't have been concerned with, and the thing that they should have been concerned with, they wasn't. And he knew then. He said, "Man, these teams they not ready to play." I think that the Cleveland Cavaliers checked out probably after they lost those first 2 games. I think they checked out, and especially after the third one. I think once they couldn't win their first game at home, I think they just mentally just checked out, man, and said, you know what, we don't want it. I don't know where they even go from. To be honest with you, I don't even know where they go from here. Simply because you got James Harden, and he's been on just about every team. Why at this point, I really don't know, because he is what he is.
Right.
But it's going to be real interesting to see what happened to the Cavs after this season, after the draft and so forth. Do LeBron James go home for a final, what I think is going to be a final season? Maybe he play another year, 2 more years. But do he do a farewell tour like they had with Julius Erving, Dr. J. Julius Erving? Do he go back to Cleveland? Who knows? Let me shout out Tim, man. Tim is on the I don't know where he at, but I'm gonna shout him out and put him up in there. He said, how good is the East versus the West? Well, my brother, you supposed to be on here comment about that, but that's okay. I got you. I know sometimes we get some technical difficulties and stuff like that, like we're having a little bit now. But we're gonna get through it. We're gonna push through it. I think yeah, I think the question was again, yeah, how good is the East versus the West? I think the East, we was talking about that earlier, Tim. I think the East is certainly playing like the East, the beast from the East of years past on both ends of the floor. They play great defensively. Of course, Jalen Brunson is the man. He's the go-to man. It's just a matter of, can they continue with the consistency when they face, the likes of a backcourt like Stephon Castle, or even, with Shea Gilgeous Alexander. That's going to be the key, because they're always looking to push the ball and to score points, set up Caruso and them for the threes and so forth. And that's going to be one of the questions. How much pressure are they going to put on Jalen Brunson, and can Bridges and them still play to the level that they've been playing? I hope so. I truly hope so that they do. Because again, it's been so long since New York City, the Big Apple, the East Coast. It's been a long time since they've even came, have an idea of what a championship trophy looks like, in New York. But you say what though, Greg? Because Tim question simply led, as far as the East versus the West, how good do you think the East really is when it comes to the West? And they ran through the East, but how good are they when they have to face the West? Either team.
Well, it's hard to compare New York now versus the New York during the season. They two different teams. They got two different mentalities, and they playing different. Right now, they very hungry. They playing together and they playing hard. So, I don't even look at New York from the regular season. You just got to go with the team now. You know, like the fans say, what you did in the past don't. We talking about right now. You know, and okay, and San Antonio, they fight. They still trying to stay alive. So once they whoever come out of there, then you can start talking about that. But I just think New York is playing different at a different level than they did in the regular season. So it's hard to compare them now, you know, versus the regular season because they playing at a high level right now. So they playing, they just playing together. It don't matter if you from the other way. They play, they just but that's what they doing.
Yeah, I just like I said with New York, you know, again as you see, some of the highlights from them playing the Cleveland Cavaliers. I think the way they've been playing defense, that's been their calling card, and I think they need to continue to do that, hang their hat on that, because OKC, San Antonio, man, they definitely play defense. They're very handsy. They do a lot of hand checking. I think they got a lot of that old '90s type of feel to them when it comes to their defense because they're very handsy. Both teams are. That's one reason why you see a lot of turnovers. OKC forced San Antonio into a lot of turnovers a couple of games back. But both of them do a really, really great job playing with their hands and moving their feet. And so, I think that it'll be very interesting to see if New York can still match that level of defense. I think they will. I think they will because they have such a good coach in Mike Brown. I don't doubt Mike Brown at all. So I think that they'll stay in the pocket with a man and do everything they got to do to stay with stay leveled with OKC or the San Antonio Spurs. But let me get back to Tim coming. He says that New York is definitely gelling, and Tim also said, I guess we'll find out soon. Yeah, absolutely, Tim, absolutely. And we're gonna have, like I said, we had a great so far Western Conference final. I can't see it dropping off even when they do get to the East, because again, I think New York is really hungry. It's just one of those years when we've seen this in sports many times before. Teams go into a game and they plan for something. OKC already taste the bubbly, as they say, from last year. I'm just wondering if they're full, if they appetite for success again has it been satisfied based on last year. That would be my only concern. I just think that it's going to be one scrap of a series regardless of who go to the finals. And you're right, Tim. Mike Brown is a very good defensive coach. You absolutely. That's one of the reasons why I think they're giving themselves absolutely a great opportunity, a great chance to go into the NBA Finals with the momentum at their back, well rested. And I'm hoping that if the West goes 7 games, I'm really hoping that New York, with the time spent off, that they don't let either team come in and steal a game, because they always are trying to get that first game. You know that as well as I do. Any team, man, that can come in and get that first game, it builds a little momentum. And you don't want to have that happen if you're New York. You want to keep the momentum because you've been off all this time. I think if they go 7 games, they would have been off 7 games or maybe 9 games or whatever. If it goes that far. So you don't want a team, man, coming off a 7-game series, come in and steal that first game. And it can certainly happen. It can certainly happen. Oh, yeah, it can definitely certainly happen because you're trying to find that other team's rhythm, and there's nothing to find or start out with because you all haven't played. And if you're lackadaisical, you come in with the in the mindset, and you don't have the right frame of mind, then that team, that road team, can certainly come in and steal that first game. But I don't know who had the best record. Tim, you can point that out. Who had the best record, man? Let me get Greg back on here because I know he was trying to get out of the car. There we go. Okay. I don't know who had the best record in the regular season between New York, San Antonio, and OKC. So I don't know if it's New York who will have to. I think OKC had a better record, if I'm not mistaken, than New York. So they would have to go on the road, which in my estimation, okay, OKC. Okay, Tim, appreciate that. OKC had the better record. And let's just say if they were to make it to the NBA Finals, I think New York, man, would be a well-rested team and usually you play a lot better when you on the road because they say you don't have to deal with a bunch of things like the family, the tickets, the kids, everybody trying to get to the game. So normally you kind of galvanize and go with that kind of, it's us against the world mentality. And I do think they can go in and steal that game one. And if they do that right there, regardless of who they play, if it's San Antonio or OKC, man, they would definitely certainly be in the driver's seat. But Greg, you say what to that?
Yeah, that's true. You know, that's what they're gonna be looking forward to do. Go to Oklahoma and steal that first game, and come get a split. And they're hoping that they catch Oklahoma or San Antonio or whoever they play. Get a split so they can at least get one win and come back home and win two, so you can have the advantage. But whoever come out, like I say, the West, they might have a day or two off, maybe one at the most, and it's right back. It's right back fighting again. Whereas New York, they don't rest it. It can go both ways. You're off some long time. You might get a little rusty. And then you play. You don't miss but a day or two. Then you might still be hot. Somebody coming from the West. It can go both ways, but being rested, it doesn't hurt. It helps a lot.
Absolutely. For those of y'all who are stopping by, this is the replay what we hope we're making you guys today. This is the sports show, man, of all sports shows right here. We're streaming live. We are live, so you can shout out in the comments. I'm joined by my guy, Greg Ice Trade Lewis, former Texas A&M Aggie, by way of those Wilmer Hutchin Eagles and those San Diego Chargers. Of course, my guy Tim had a little technical difficulty, but he is chatting out in the comments with us. So he's that's what you call, man, a trooper. He's a trooper. He's a gamer. So I appreciate the love that y'all giving us. Again, you all can catch a lot of our content. We are streaming live. We have over 45 countries that's downloaded the app or come over to our streaming network. We are the Wide Sports Channel. Go to your Apple store. You'll see a banner called Al Islam Worldwide TV, who are our sponsors, and you'll be able to see all of the content that we'll continue to put up. So that's the NBA. That's the NBA. That's what we having to deal with. I think that I can't wait, man, to get to the finals. If OKC don't take care of business against the San Antonio Spurs again, it's going to be very, very interesting on what happened when they get back to Oklahoma, because now, once again, that 800-pound gorilla would be on their shoulder. The weight is on their shoulders, and a young team like San Antonio can go in there, man, and just play, carefree basketball. And anything, just like in March Madness, can happen. So I wouldn't just rest my case on the fact that, OKC is back home. They're going to have a crowd behind them and so forth and all of that, because San Antonio has already proven that we can win in a building by winning the first game. So they're going to go in unbothered by, the ambiance of OKC and what they have going on in the crowd. It's kind of like the great Michael Jordan once said, your job is to take the crowd out of it. Take the crowd out of it. And that's what I look forward to doing. If you're on the road, go in there and silence the crowd. Go in there and make them say, you know what, we're going to put every kind of pressure that we can. But Greg, like you said earlier, they got to establish Victor Wembanyama in the paint. He can't be out there thinking he's Steph Curry shooting them threes like that. I just think that they had Chet Holmgren, man. He was in foul trouble for a while. They had him with 4 fouls, but they couldn't finish him off. Why? Because you're making it easy on him. Take him down low. Take him down in that paint and use up the rest of those fouls to get him out of the middle. I think the problem with that second unit with the San Antonio Spurs versus the OKC second unit is that there's a slight drop-off, because when Cornette come into the game, he provides absolutely nothing for the San Antonio Spurs. I think he is the weak link, because Hardenstein, he comes in and he plays, his role for the most part, better than what he's playing in that second unit for the San Antonio Spurs. They got to get that corrected if they're looking to advance. If they're looking to get to the NBA Finals, they got to make sure that this guy's mind is focused and that he's playing better when Victor Wembanyama is not on the floor. I think if they can do that, quit the silly turnovers, and just focus, man. Focus on handling the ball. I think they can win this series, but time will tell. Time will certainly tell. So again, that's gonna do it for the NBA playoffs. But before we wrap this show up, man, we got to talk about something that you know, I don't know if it was. I really don't know if this thing was. And Tim, you're gonna be putting comments out here, chatting out on this one right here, man, because I don't know, if this thing was rigged or what happened or whatever the case may be. I got to get to it, but y'all got to explain this to me, man. What is Ray J doing, man? Y'all got to explain this to me. What is Ray J doing? Now, in this particular fight, he says towards the end that it was supposed to have been a setup from the start, and he did not know that it was real. So, and he didn't want to say too much. But Greg, I don't know if you saw this, Tim. I don't know if you saw this or not. So that's why he has the microphone. And he didn't want to say too much because he said that they supposed to put on a good show. But I guess the other guy, Super, he didn't get the memo because he went in there, as you can see, and knocked Ray J out, man. And I'm trying to figure out what is going on. What is actually going on with this? But Greg, what is your take on this, man?
Well, from the look of it, if it was a setup or whatever, if it was real or not, Ray J ain't got nothing. It should have went told Stu from the get-go, say, man, we just having a good time. This need to be, don't need to be throwing no punches,
Right.
Because I don't know what he was doing because he ain't got a clue. Not one to never talk noise to nobody.
Really, man. Really. And I'm gonna tell you something. And you know who the first person I thought about, honestly, was his wife, Princess. Because the way he talked to her and stuff, in my mind, I'm saying, Ray J, I don't know if y'all, I wasn't, like the guy in the ring. I guess he was the host of it. I don't know, if that was the plan, if it was in the contract, whatever it was. But he said, y'all got to talk behind the scene. Take that in the back. I'm just simply saying, I'm with you, Greg. Whether if it was set up or not, man, you can't. Look at that, Ray. I got to see, you got to show this again because it's just crazy, man, to think that you can go into a fight and you should be able to have some type of sense that, okay, that first punch might get by, but it seemed like, let me see what he's saying right here. So,
say what you gotta say, man. I don't want to say too much because I don't want to get nobody in trouble. But we took an L tonight.
So he said, so we took an L tonight. The guy, he said, no, we ain't took nothing. You took it. So whatever you all have to discuss, you better go in the back room and discuss it because somebody didn't get the memo. Let me see what Tim says. Tim said he need to change his name to Butterball. Yeah. And then you go in the ring, and I'm talking about Ray J. What is it, man? I mean, do you have heart problems? Or do you need to enlist in some type of psychology? I mean, what is it, Ray J? Because they say he had to go to the hospital to check on the concussion. Of course, social media is undefeated. They had the Martin Lawrence, knots on him the way, when doing the episode with Thomas Hitman Hearns. And I just didn't see, I don't know what the figures were, what the check, when they cut the check. Right. But it seems like he looking at his guy like, really, man, really? But again, he didn't get the memo. Because once he swung the first time, he should have known, wait a minute, man, somebody must have chained horses in the middle of the race and got this because, man, in the words of Chris Tucker in Friday, he said, you got knocked the you-know-what out. So I just said, I gotta ask somebody, did they see what I see? Did I miss something? Did y'all hear something? I don't know, Greg. What you think, though?
Man, I ain't heard nothing. All I seen is a young fella who's out of shape, probably wasn't even in the building. He probably was somewhere else, and went in there playing whatever he thought was going on and got knocked out. You know, so but from what I see, he ain't had no business in there anyway. You know what I'm saying?
Period.
He ain't got nothing.
And and again I'm saying, man, the man is talking about he got what, moving on 25% of heart rate and all
Yeah,
this other, this health thing that he got going on. I don't know if he got and I hate to say this like this, man, but I gotta say it. I don't know if he got a death wish or if he just, unconcerned or unbothered or unmoved. But if that is the case, what is he doing in the ring? And then I'm wondering whoever sanctions something like this, because everything, like I say this all the time, is always laughable and funny until it's not.
yeah,
So if he has some real health problems, because I heard his mom, Miss Sonia Norwood, she came on the radio and she confirmed what he was saying. So if that is the case, I'm wondering who's liable for this man getting in the ring.
who took that chance?
That's crazy to me that they would allow him to go in the ring and for a check, and he's not even thinking properly, if you ask me, because you have children that you need to be here for. So, and then you go in there and embarrass yourself like that. Out of all the stuff that you talked about over the years, the way you treated your wife and all, the dudes when he was on those shows, real hip hop and all that stuff, and telling guys to take a fade. Let's take a fade.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Stop it.
Yeah.
Ray J, you're not a tough guy. You're not. I don't know. I don't even know. I've never even seen you as a tough guy. I mean, you've been living off your sister's brand. Granted, I mean, you had a couple of nice singles there, Ray J, and but you do have a famous sister now, and for some odd reason, you got to connect yourself with these individuals who actually live there, because you've been out there in the valleys in California, and you're connecting yourself with these individuals over the years. And for some odd reason, that ego gets souped up, man. It gets souped up, and then it write a check that your behind cannot cash. And that dude, I don't know if I'm laughing because he must have sat in the room with some guys and say, man, I'm gonna go out here and knock this fool out. You know what I mean? You know how dude be talking behind the scenes. He must have been behind the scene, man. Said, you know what? I'm gonna go here and handle my business, because he done said something years past or whatever. Scratch that, man. Scratch that. Because he looking at Ray J. I believe that's why Ray J laughed while he was looking. I'm like, oh, really? Like, really? This what we doing? Yeah, you know what I'm saying, dude? Like,
Yeah.
So, hey, man, I had to show that right there.
Can't take it back.
No, that's out there now. That's in the cloud, as they say. He can't take that back. His children gonna see that later. He can't take that back, Greg. He can't take that back. No way. Let me see what Tim is coming on. Let me see what Tim is cutting on. Kim say, let me see. Yeah, Tim say he definitely love being foolish. Yeah, Tim. Yeah, I don't know what it is. I don't think he need the money. I mean, I get, and then they go out there. Another thing that I noticed, they went out there with those little UFC gloves on. I'm saying, dude, even Floyd Mayweather, they got the 8-ounce gloves or however 10-ounce gloves or whatever. So y'all gonna go out there with UFC gloves on, and who are y'all fooling? Because both of them was out of shape. But Ray J just seemed like you had absolutely no business being in the ring and don't put on 30 pounds of nothingness. No muscle nowhere. Come on, man. We must do better. We have to do better. We have to do better, guys. So anyway, that's enough on that, man. I'm gonna get off of Ray J. I just had to bring that up because when I saw that there, I said, man, something. Now it has to be something. There has to be something up. So we're gonna wrap this show up. This was a quick show right here because we got some other things we're doing in the background. I got some other calls I gotta make, but I love coming on here when we can come on here. We want to keep this momentum going. Again, this is the Wise Sports Channel. You can go to your Apple Store, download the banner Alice Lamb Worldwide TV, and you're gonna see the Wise Sports Show and all the great content that we're putting up. Before we do get out of here, Greg, we're gonna talk about an event that's coming up. On Saturday, I'm going to say January. On Saturday, June the 6th, at the Wilmer Hutchins High School, we're going to be doing the second annual I Am Student Athlete. There you have it right there. I Am Student Athlete, say yes to success. We got a lot of people coming out. We got 16 to 17 great speakers that's going to be on board, along with the NFL Alumni Association. Mr. Mike Holmes, President Mike Holmes. We're going to be talking about NIL deals. We're going to be talking about workforce development, mental and health fitness, talking about business, investments. We're going to be talking about a plethora of things that you're not going to want to miss. If you know someone, you have a nephew, you have a cousin, if you're a parent, if you're a grandparent, we're asking you all to come out. It's absolutely free. There is no paid parking. Come out and enjoy yourself. And immediately following the summit, we're going to be doing this right here. That's right. That's right. The AEX coming all the way from Charlotte, North Carolina will be in the building. Again, you see some of the speakers that's going to be on there. We got people like Rodney Woods with Penn, Players Investment Network. We got Natasha G, who's a licensed attorney. She represents several college athletes and NFL players. We got, of course, CEO Mark Jones with the Bunton Forum. We got a plethora of people, man. And then we got, if you never heard of an individual by the name of Imam Yakut Abdullah, I mean, you're in for a treat. The keynote speaker at the top left, you see him, as well as Jason Medlock. So we got a lot of people, man, that's going to be on this stage giving out and pouring information to our young people. And as I said before, if you hadn't seen my post from a couple of weeks ago, I went into the Harris County Juvenile Detention Center and had a chance to see the young people ages 13 to 17 years of age. And when I tell you guys, we got our work cut out, we have our work cut out. Some of them are going to be tried at 18-year-old adults because they're in there not just for robbery, but also for murders. And I say that the scripture talks about that it takes a village to raise a child. Well, guess what? I think the village fell asleep. The village fell asleep, and it's time for a reawakening. We got to get back to the basics and fundamentals. Are we going to save them all? No, we won't. But can we save some? Yes, we can. I don't know anything better than, right now in the time in which we're living in is to be able to pour back into our youth. Don't tell me that, I hear you. I'm trust me. When you talk about these young people being out of control, I hear you. I'm with you all the way. But at the same time, in order for evil to prevail, good people do nothing. And I'm simply saying, when I was up at J.N. Irvin Elementary, I saw young kids, these young babies, as the teacher was bringing them out of the classrooms and moving around from hall to hall. They had their hands behind their back. Teacher told them to be quiet. They was quiet. And I'm sitting there looking at this and I'm saying, well, when does it change? Because from what I saw with my own two eyes, these young babies was disciplined and they was doing what the teacher was asking them to do. So when did it change, or when does it change? So it has to be an evolution that's evolving where they're getting incorrect information and the foundation is starting to have cracks in it and nobody is doing anything to pivot or have them to about face, if you will. And we have to get back into the game of this thing. And I am going to say, as I said before, if you are over the age of 40 and definitely 50, do you not realize that you have more life behind you than in front of you? The average age is only 75 years of age. So if you're 50, technically you got 15 more years or better to be here, or 20 years. So think about that for a second. Just let that marinate. You ain't got a lot of time. So again, what's going to be on your spiritual resume? Yeah, think about that for a second. What's going to be on your spiritual resume when it's all said and done? What is it that you want God to say about you? I think about it all the time, people. So this is a great opportunity to come in, even if you don't have a lot of support financially, because we do take the donation part of this thing too. We are a legitimate 501c3. The termination letter was handed out back in February. I've been working, and a lot of you all don't know this, because I don't never talk about this. I do a lot of this out of my own pocket. Out of my own pocket. And I've been doing this for a long time. I also put up a video back when my son was about 8 years of age, going to TL Marsalis. Well, I've been doing this. I've been doing this way back in the 90s. I've been doing this, working with our young people. So your time is important. It's our greatest asset, our greatest commodity. So if you can't do anything, support us with your time. We're going to be up there at 10 a.m. sharp. We're going to be starting from 10 to 12:15, maybe 12:30, and immediately following the summit. Again, those young people who have registered for the AEX Combine, they'll go over to the football stadium, and that's where we're going to get busy out there, because they're there to collect the data, the information, to send it to the colleges and universities. And by the way, let me also emphasize, because we will be playing a girls flag football game. We got 8 teams that will be playing. They are handing out scholarships. Yes, they are handing out scholarships for girls flag football. Man, I thought that was so amazing, so beautiful, to help them be able to advance themselves, to get into college, man, and go forward in life and live out some of their dreams that they want to do, because everybody's not going to play professional, but they can be a professional in life. But again, for more information, you can go to my website. That's www.iamstudentathlete.org. Okay. Or if you want to register, please go to www.sac, that's SAC, footballshowcase.com. That's where you will register for the AEX Combine. And again, if you know a child, this is not just because we're up at Wilma Hutchins, doesn't mean that we're talking about Wilma Hutchins kids. All of them are our young people in the area of the city of Dallas. So we're talking about children that are across the area. Bring them out. The summit is absolutely free of charge, no parking, and just give us your time. So, Greg, that's going to conclude another show here, man. I'm so glad, man, you jumped on with me. I know Tim was having, like I said, a little technical difficulty, but our brother will be back with us, ready to shine, real bright on next week. So until then, I'll keep posting. Again, go to my website. Y'all see it going across the screen right there. And we're going to be back in a minute. Peace and love, y'all.
Peace.